Ghost hunting mixed with action combat that includes swapping between two worlds, moral choices that directly affect the story, and solving mysteries surrounding a cursed, haunted town. What's not to love? Banishers: Ghosts of New Eden was released in February 2024 on PS5, Xbox Series X and S, and PC. It was developed by Don't Nod and published by Focus Entertainment, and is considered a spiritual successor to the popular game Vampyr, which was created by the same teams. Banishers earned a 78 on PS5, a 79 on PC, and an 81 on Xbox Series S and X. The positive reviews were glowing, praising the storytelling, with it being memorable for a long time to come, and the moral dilemmas, writing and voice acting, utterly mind-blowing. It earned 10 out of 10s and 100%, but it also got a 0. This review complained more about the technical issues, but also that the combat was too basic and the dialogue was laughable. Another review described it as mediocre and bland. That's a huge gap between opinions of this game, and I don't think I've seen such polarizing reviews in a long time. We begin our story in 1695 with Antea Duarte and Red McGrath, Banishers who find ghosts and help them cross over into the other realm. They've been called by their friend and mentor, Charles, to New Eden, a small town in the New World that seems to have a curse attached to it. The sun no longer shines. The townsfolk have either died, and few have escaped, and those who stay have terrifying nightmares. When Antea and Red get to town, they're told Charles's body was found in the cemetery, and that they're too late.
Please, accept my sincerest condolences for the loss of your friend. We feel the loss of our minister so very keenly. Charles Davenport was a man of great knowledge and devotion, the pride indeed of New Eden. It discommodes me greatly to remember how we found his body in the cemetery. Indeed, it distresses me yet further to tell you that we do not know what so tragically cost him his life.
They visit his widow, Esther, and ask what happened. She doesn't know the details, but she does know that he had a theory that a ghost was responsible for the town's curse, and Charles wanted to rid it himself after becoming impatient for Antea and Red to arrive.
I've barely slept for fear you would not come. I'm at a loss. Would God even allow me to drag you into these dark times?
I'm so sorry we didn't get here on time. Truly.
I know. Charles kept saying it. Have faith. They will come. If only he had kept his faith himself.
What happened to him?
Poor Charles. Just one more victim of the curse of New Eden. You know how he is. Was. Restless. Impatient. It's not that he gave up on you, his friends, but that he could wait no more. I believe he tried to lift the curse. I too have questions, but I have no answers. Nor do I now have a husband.
Is there anything we should know about?
Anything at all, Esther? Please.
I have felt Charles present about the house. His ghost lingers. He needs help.
If he's here, I promise I will know no rest until he has his.
You can count on us.
Antea goes to the cemetery to see if any clues remain, and she performs a ritual to see the echo, or the past traumatic event that Charles experienced. She sees him talking to a woman in white.
I am everything you've ever feared.
Who then shoots a sort of energy at him, killing Charles. Antea performs another ritual to bring Charles back to this world as a ghost and answers some questions.
Come on, Charles. Join me now. I know you're here. I know you're here.
He tells Antea about the woman in white and that she's a nightmare, a powerful and relentless ghost with not a lot known about it, and it cannot be banished in a standard way.
This one is different. Implacable. Very clever. Many magnitudes more ferocious than a spectre, and just as relentless.
Antea begins to banish Charles's ghost, as it's her job, but she's stopped by Red and Esther, who want to say a last goodbye.
Wait for what? We're Banishers. Death to the dead.
Let Esther choose first.
Oh Lord, please don't ask me to do that.
Red encourages Antea to ascend Charles rather than banish him, as ascending is more peaceful and they go to a good place rather than a bad.
Charles Davenport, you have no reason to stay. Go. Let Esther grieve in peace.
Save her, my friends. And save yourselves. Save them all.
Antea and Red decide to take a look at the meeting house the next day, as Charles was sure the nightmare was situated there.
Such entities are legendary ghosts, even for...
Red wakes up alone and thinks Antea has gone on her own. He finds what he thinks is Antea, and then the nightmare appears.
I'm here, my love. How mundane.
Show yourself!
God came to the man in a dream and said, "Behold, thou art dead." But the man had done nothing wrong and said,
Lord, wilt thou also slay the righteous?
What?
"Will you slay the righteous?"
He tries to fight it, but gets overpowered.
Where's Antea? If you laid a finger on her...
You'll what? Come to her aid?
The real Antea comes rushing to help, and the nightmare proves too powerful, taking Antea down with the same energy she killed Charles with. You might be screaming, "No spoilers!" at me, but trust me, I can't look into the game without telling you about this moment.
Will you come to her aid now, when all is lost? If you do, I'll be waiting.
Red gets saved by a witch, and Antea is now a ghost, and she can appear to Red in order to help him with his mission. He now has choices to make that will influence what happens in the game. Retrieve Antea's body and help her ascend, or blame the haunted living people and gain their life energy in order to bring Antea back to life. Each story we have to solve will give us a choice of blame the person, ascend or banish the ghost, and we can choose based on our own feelings towards those involved. Or, because we need the life energy, mercilessly blame every inhabitant. I hadn't heard anything about this game, but when I saw a quick review, I was instantly hooked. The story is heartbreaking, but interesting. The moral choices and individual stories to solve helped me learn more about the people in this world, and the stakes were high from the start. The initial concept was something I haven't seen in a while, and it intrigued me to see how the devs would pull it off. The characters were likable, and not over the top or too unrealistic in their behaviours. The conundrum of keeping their work from their personal feelings was a huge conflict, and it does make you wonder, what would you do in the same situation? The combat can range from story mode to I hate myself mode, and do I even have to say which one I played on? Well, I didn't choose story mode. Okay. Not a real gamer mode. I can imagine this getting to Souls-like levels of pain, and there's not only a dodge button, but a parry, neither of which I'm very good at using. But I found it gentle enough on easy that I wasn't dragged away from the story for too long. The main novelty of the combat is switching between Red and Antea, physical to ghost, and each of them have their strengths and weaknesses in combat. Antea is better at fighting ghostly enemies, and Red can fight both, but also has a banishing move. The little mysteries we have to solve are engaging, and when you think it's going one direction, there's a twist that could flip your opinion on the people involved. We also have to collect materials for rituals, and performing these helps us get more information about each story. This really reminded me of The Witcher 3, when you had little mysteries to solve and you had to gather clues and follow footprints through the forest. Imagine that, but more fleshed out and turned into a whole game. I was hooked by the game right at the start. With each mystery solved, it felt like I'm really working hard towards the ultimate goal of retrieving Antea's body and deciding how all this will end. There's not a whole lot that will keep you from following the main storyline, as the side quests are linked to the main quests in obvious ways. You can do a little exploring, and you're rewarded for being nosy, but sometimes it's easier to stick to the objective. I found myself wandering around and thinking, this might be more relevant if I just follow the story, and then coming across it later. There's not much stopping you getting ahead of yourself, except a few quest-related items, but you're not punished for running around if you feel like it. The story is slow but consistent. It's like it's in a constant state of suspense, and you don't know when the next twist will happen. There's no point when you're in between quests, and there's always something to follow or go to. Depending on your combat difficulty, each fight could take seconds or a few minutes, and that's really the only thing that slows you down. This isn't a heavy game, nor is it a game you can just wander around for hours in. The most effort, I think, comes from the combat, as I said, while the mysteries are pretty easy to work out, and you're only wrestling with your own moral compass. I did find I had to be in the right state of mind to put this game on though. If I wanted an action game I could just run around in, I didn't put this on. Banishers is a story-heavy game, so you have to be prepared for cutscenes and dialogue galore, but they never feel like too much. You still have a good balance of action to cutscenes, and you're not stopped every 5 steps for some exposition. But you do have to pay attention to what's being said and what each story is going to tell.
You may have your time back, with my thanks.
Well, thank the Lord for that.
This isn't relaxy, but it's not intense. You can work your way through the mysteries at your own pace, within reason. Like you can go off and find flowers to pick and you won't be hurried along. The story is quite deep and emotional at times, but I didn't have to step away and take a break. The game introduces mechanics slowly and understandably, so you're never lost on how to proceed or win a fight. I think the overall game, though hanging in suspense and having horror elements, is consistent. There's urgency, but it's not super urgent. There are choices to be made, but you have time to consider them. You have to decide what happens to Antea, but you're given enough time to learn about her and Red to make your own decision. I didn't feel stressed or like the game was asking too much of me all at once. Banishers Ghosts of New Eden came out relatively quietly. I didn't know anything about it, and I hadn't seen many videos on it, but it's a great game. The main story is relatable in certain places, and Antea and Red are well-defined characters with their own opinions about dealing with ghosts and their work. The combat is enjoyable, and the world is well-designed and fun to move through. Yeah, there's some weird technical issues now and then, and the music does this weird thing of stopping suddenly and then starting again. But hey, it's only been out a month.
She just stands there, watching me, waiting, taking my measure.
After we ate the horse, I employed my fellow travelers as porters.
Are you leaving New Eden for good then?
These are all fixable things though, and the foundation of the game is solid enough that I think it's a title that deserves more love and attention.
Could I please continue this conversation with my feet on the ground? Easy now.
Stop your jiggling. Hold still, I said.
You try holding still when some lassie's shooting at you.
In that case, Banisher, you may escape the trap yourself.
Wait, what? No, come on!
Our camp lies downhill. I'll wait for you there.
Come back here! Shite! I don't suppose you can help me, can you?
That was entertaining.
This was fun. Let's do it again sometime. And if you like what you saw, don't forget to subscribe and leave a like down below.